Oh, Tim's here tonight. Hi, Tim.
Hello, hello. Not much to report tonight, but I'm here.
Well, we're glad to see you.
Is it? And you know, I was thinking, are you guys going to give us notice about next month, the big special
Yes.
meeting? Okay.
As soon as we get the okay. I've already talked to. There's a new. She's actually acting supervisor. Janae has been promoted for a while anyway.
Okay. So you'll let us know.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, we're keeping track. So see what we can do.
Yeah, I only go to the office. Well, now we have to go twice a week, from one day to 2 days now, because Omicron's gone down. So, yeah. So
So now you have to work a little, huh?
I tell you, I think I've been spoiled over the last 2 years.
I know.
Must be nice, Tim. Councilmember Cohn makes us go in the office every day.
Sorry, I'm looking forward to going to the office every day, 9 to 5 again. I really want to do that. Or go to events. I want to go to events again.
Yeah, really. Okay. Well, let me see. What do we want to do here? Go ahead and start. I think most of our Sharon's not over here. Ron's not here yet, and Sita. But otherwise, I have 5 after, so we'll go ahead and get started, I think. I'm Linda Locke. For some of the new people that might not know me. And it's 7:05 according to my timeline. And everybody should have gotten a copy of the minutes. I have a couple of corrections, Ty, so if you're ready. Anybody else saw anything? Number 5, the police department, Captain Todd has 2 D's in his name. He only had 1 on that line. And then down at under 7, Piedmont Hills High School board member Vishnu. Piedmont, yeah, high school board. Where are we? Says Vishnu is now a paid intern with and then there's nothing there. So it's supposed to be David Cohen's office. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, that would be right.
Yeah. Okay. That line got all dropped off. Okay, cool.
Hey, Linda, there's one more correction, Sanarag. I think Joanne's first name was spelled wrong in the minutes.
Was it? Oh, okay. Didn't see that.
G.
It's be under 7. What's her last name? Let's see.
First name is Joya, Jaria.
J-A. Oh, let's say that.
Jaria.
Yeah, I-A, right?
Yes.
Oh, I see. You got Jew. Yeah, you have an U. It's Jarie. Right. Okay, cool. Thanks. Narag, thanks for pointing that out. I missed that. Okay, let me see what I do with the agenda. Treasurer's report will be next. Susan?
Hi, everyone. Let's see, I have the treasurer's report for January 2022. So our beginning balance on January 1st was $3,337.78. We had income of $210, which was from 20 membership due payments. We had expenses of $113.90 for the mural restoration, celebration, refreshments. And then the robocall subscription was $90. So the ending balance on January 31st was $3,343.88. Then we have the City of San Jose District 4 grant. The beginning balance January 1st was $10,000. No expenses. So we had an ending balance of on January 31st, of $10,000. So I just want to remind everyone that our 2022 annual membership dues are being collected as we speak. I will take cash, I'll take check, you can Venmo the money. I can pick it up because it's really important. It keeps our meeting going. It pays for the robocalls. It pays for the facility when we are able to go there and the refreshments. And so far we have 130 members with 32 having paid so far. So the $10 really does go a long way for 1 year, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Okay, any questions? Eric, I think I have a note on my screen. Are we on the 40-minute limit, or is that just something they want you to look at? Eric, are you there?
No, we have a paid for account. We shouldn't be.
Okay, we're okay. I don't have to talk faster. All right. Thanks, Susan. Are there any questions for our treasurer? Okay. Police report, Captain Trayer, you are up, sir.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Linda. I'm in a different location because tonight, earlier this evening, we had multiple carjackings
Oh,
kind of
no.
the South San Jose area. And we've been working them since about noon today. And we just took one person into custody. And 20 minutes ago, I was out at the scene of another one where we took another person into custody. We recovered 2 cars. We still have more work to do tonight, but that's what we're doing tonight. So fortunate it's not in your area, but it's been very, very busy, and the cops have been doing a great job. Thank goodness we have that helicopter, that loud helicopter. I know, I'm kidding, but that's usually what I hear. So I want to start off with that. I did see a question in the chat about the fatal accident, which I was going to talk about today at Berryessa and Piedmont, and if it was related to a police pursuit down Suncrest. I don't have that information. A lot of people have asked that because the police were up at the top of the hill. I do know the police were walking car to car and handling the parkers, we call them, on Suncrest. And as they approached that car with the 2 ladies in it, it took off down the hill. And as it went down the hill, it passed officers, or at least one officer that was going up the hill, who started to turn around, but that car had already gone down at a super fast speed, and then ran through the intersection and was hit by a community member that was just driving through the intersection, where the car spun out and hit a tree or a couple trees. So that's kind of the details of the fatal accident. It's very, very sad. And that hill, if you know that hill, we all do, it's a real hill, right? If you start going down there, the momentum, the inertia, and just the ability to control your car, you don't realize when you're going that fast, you just can't control it like that. So it's a different world. So I'm very sad for the driver of the vehicle, and the passenger was hurt. There was a passenger adult also who was hurt very badly, but survived, which is very good. And I don't know yet if they've released whether alcohol or drugs were involved, but a lot of people up on that hill are using alcohol, which is why, and drugs is why the officers go up there every week. So I'm sure that'll come out when they finish the coroner's report and that type of thing. And hope, it's just sad that even happened in our neighborhood, right? Last night, if you didn't hear, there was a sideshow. There was actually 5 sideshows, 5 or 6, throughout the city. And unfortunately, the third one was in your area. It was kind of in the area of Penitencia and White, I think. Penitencia and White is where about 150 to 200 cars showed up. Officers were already en route over there, which is good, but it was still a sideshow again. In that case, when the officers showed up, people scrambled, and one of the main cars crashed, and people got out and tried to leave, but they weren't able to. The officers arrested one subject and cited a bunch of other subjects, and then towed the main car, which is really important also because that keeps them from doing sideshows. I am going to estimate, without reading the whole thing right now, because they texted me a minute ago, with the whole night's events, that they towed likely 5 cars. They arrested multiple people throughout the city on these sideshows and cited a lot of people. How's that for a number? A lot. It wasn't one of those 200 days where 200 people got cites, but the important thing is that they're doing enforcement. We did not know this was coming to our city, and it was what we call a pop-up sideshow. The officers the officers worked hard, and I met with them all tonight, and we kind of debriefed it during our briefing. They were up pretty late because that's the nature of the game with sideshows. They go into the night. That is kind of the main big things that have happened in your area. Some of you were at the weekend meeting. I think I saw a few over at the Penitencia meeting, but the one thing I mentioned, and I want to remind everyone, is that burglaries are happening. They're not, knock on wood, rampant in our area, but the burglars are still often either breaking a back window if they think no one's home. So without me going into a full hour of crime prevention stuff today, remember to make your house look like people are there. If you have the ability to keep a car in the driveway, if you have lights that can turn on, off and on, it really is critical. One of the last ones that happened off of Salt Lake, which is not too far from you, the suspects went to the back. I can tell you my sense is that they thought no one was home because we saw some neighbors video. They went to the back and broke the window out of the back sliding door and went into the house where a woman was upstairs. She came down and was robbed. I mean, basically it's a home invasion in my mind when someone's home. So we are still working on that. We are developing leads on a white Lexus SUV that was in the area, but it's a good reminder for us to be careful and make our house look occupied. She was home, but the car was parked in the garage, which would never happen at my house because I can't fit a car in my garage. But other than that, that was kind of the big ones that I wanted to make sure I touched on today with my time. And I will read the chat, but if anyone has any questions, please, hopefully I can see you on here.
Do you mind if I just jump in? Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh, I do have a question. Last night, when the sideshows were going on, there was a sideshow also very close to where I live. And it seemed as if it was like maybe on Noble or Penitencia Creek Road, somewhere around there. Was that one of the sideshows? And the helicopter did show up, and then all of a sudden everything was quiet.
Yeah, that is the sideshow, the one you're talking about. That's the same one. And what happened was one of the drivers used a laser pen, and they shot the laser light at the helicopter. Wow. Which is if you're not familiar with it, it can blind the pilots.
Absolutely.
It's a really big deal. But one thing, my pilots are great at everything. In fact, they caught the 2 carjackers tonight. My pilots did. But last night they honed in on the person doing the laser, and they arrested him. So that was one of the people that got arrested. And later, a different person did a laser also, and we arrested them also with the lasers. We got them. So yeah, I'm sorry that happened in your neighborhood. I don't know what the attraction is to that area, but this weekend, Council Member Cohen, myself, and Stacy, who I saw on here, that was part of some of the topics that they discussed with the community in Penitencia. Also, just reevaluating intersections, and is there something we can do through the Department of Transportation to make it less attractive for that? And there probably is, but it's a matter of just timing and them being able to do it for us. Penitencia is a priority for us for sure. That street, Penitencia and White. And the detective from the Traffic Investigations Unit texted me and said they do not have information that it was like a full regular pursuit. So at this point, I don't have anything saying that it's a pursuit, which is good to know.
I can't get my hand
Thank
up.
you, Captain Trayer.
Can I ask him a quick question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't get my hand up. I'm having computer issues. Sorry. Always technical stuff. Last night I heard the sideshows too, all the way up on Sierra. And also there were several people throwing out firecrackers and doing M80s up here. During that, it seemed like some of them headed up this direction too. So we're still having a lot of late night activity. My cameras last Saturday night caught people up here till 4 in the morning. Sometimes I have to put on the earplugs, but another thing, it's very discerning. I haven't been out much due to COVID, but I had to go to Walgreens to pick something up. I was shocked, totally shocked that all the windows were boarded up. And then today I had to go towards the Berryessa shopping center, and right near CVS, Jade China windows were broken out.
Oh.
So I'm wondering, is there a foot patrol there too? Or can we get more officers eating at the restaurants there, or even at our Mexican food place down at the bottom of Sierra Road? Maybe we could get, you guys stopping there, just visibility. But it's just really sad because the businesses, we need them. We don't need them to go away because they can't repair their windows.
Oh, I agree. And the commercial burglaries have been so real, not, of course, I focus on the Foothill area and it's been super real here, but it's everywhere, unfortunately. So we do have officers in foot patrol. They don't particularly go in that area because I haven't had like this spree of stuff like that happening. But, I look at everything that happens. So if I see some type of trend like that, like what you're saying, it sounds like it's picking up over in that area. I'll take a look at it. I'm like right now, I'm out driving around at night. I'm helping with these carjackings and things like that. But when it slows down, which it is slowing down, as I looked over my shoulder, it gives me a chance to kind of go over and kind of see where people are hanging out, drinking or hanging out, that type of thing. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated.
Catherine, I would love to build on your point. I'm sure we must be neighbors, but I'm new here. So first, hello everyone. I'm Alex. I've actually been a longtime resident for over 30 years here in Sierra, but first time coming to this meeting. But anyways, Catherine, I would actually love to build on your point on I didn't even know that there was the new fireworks sort of activity just recently. But my main concern has been the main concern has been around the type of suspicious activity that's been happening along Sierra Road. When I grew up around here, it just felt a lot safer, right? I mean, we always knew that there was a challenge with cars coming up and down the hill, and especially on Sierra Road, there's actually a blind spot near one of the churches area, right? But over the years, it's become much worse, in which it's not just speeding cars, but there's certain type of people who would go up there. There's a lot more litter, a lot more bottle. So we know they've been doing drinking, they've been smoking, and I guess they've been doing fireworks or whatnot. I do remember hearing like loud booms late at night, and I didn't even know if it was a gunshot, but I guess it's probably fireworks. So that's a really big concern. And I want to point out to an incident that actually happened last October. So for those of you who remember, that's when we had our very large fire in the area. It burned for approximately 8 acres, if I recall, out of like a total of 9 inside that vicinity. And when I counted, looked at the map, it put in danger of approximately 35 plus different homes in the area, right? I think 36 was the exact number. In addition to the school nearby, the Sunshine School. So that's a total of maybe approximately 120 to 130 plus, including 10 to 20 children at least, whose life been in danger. And I know we talk about, oh, maybe the weather's just getting hotter and the fire spontaneous, but I don't think so. I remember at that time, I've been talking with different neighbors that we actually saw different people sort of walking around early in the morning, and whether they were shooting fireworks or doing a barbecue or something, it sort of caused that incident, right? At least it's one of the suspicious moments where potentially it caused that incident. So I always have this great fear for, of course, my family, but also the entire community that, hey, there's just too many people up there. There's no protection on like preventing people from speeding, preventing people from trespassing, going into the back of the hills and doing whatever type of activity there. I mean, the past is just annoyance, but especially with last year, and this is what prompted me to come here today, it's become a very real fatal risk, right? For many, many people. So I would really love to bring that up, and I was wondering if the group community here is aware of that, if there's anything that we're doing. Thank you.
Well, I think Captain Trier, didn't they catch the person that set that fire that he's talking about?
They did. It was a lady, right? It was a lady that
Yeah.
was kind of on drugs or something in someone's backyard. They have a strong suspicion that she did, but I don't know if they ever actually pinned her to the fire. But you and I, putting 2 and 2 together, figured she was part of that team of people that ran away when something caught on fire. I do remember that in October. Thank you for bringing that up. I can tell you, I wish I had the ability to be there all the time. I have to rely on help from everyone there. So you are part, Mr. Sung, you're part of an amazing group of people. They call my cell phone, right? When things happen, first call 911, but then let me know on my cell if you can when things are like that. And that's what happened. And that allowed additional resources to go up there and help with that fire, which is a big deal. So fire is, I don't know, and Mr. Santos is on the call. I kind of think fire season is all year long now. It's not just the summertime anymore. We just have to be aware all the time of that type of issue, and then call 911 when you see suspicious people doing that type of thing. That one was very unusual day, and fortunately we were able to take somebody into custody for that.
Okay, Captain, one more point, if I may add. Reactive approach, totally on board with you with that. All of us have to be super vigilant and mindful and just observant of the situation around us. But is there any preventative actions that we can do as well? Could we do at least something basic like install more signs that says, hey, like no speeding, right? No crazy stuff like that. Number two, like, I don't know what's the right sign because I'm not a legal person, but something along the lines of like no trespassing or like no fireworks allowed or no smoking allowed, something along those lines, at least a little bit more preventative.
Well, you can't put a sign up for everything because that doesn't seem practical. Everything you just said is something that everybody knows that goes up in the hills. They know they can't do those things. The reality is people are just recklessly going up there at times and setting off fireworks, especially during that time of the year when they're more available. And speeding is something that I promise you has been brought up at the meetings. We do enforcement up there, but it's never going to be perfect. I know it isn't. I know that like I just recently went up to the open space at the preserve at the very top of Sierra Road, and I'm really getting to know those ranger folks that are up there, which is good because now they have contact with me, and when they see problems, they have cameras up there. They text me or call me directly in the middle of the night, which is fine. And I can send officers up, and it kind of gives me more of a heads up when there are bigger issues. They literally take over the whole street at the top of Sierra Road. And the cops don't go up there a lot. It's far, right? It's a good 15-minute drive to the top of the hill. And you need at least 2 cops to go up there. They can't go up there by themselves. That's not safe or practical. So just know that I'm aware. I do have officers out there doing traffic enforcement. I'm not going to throw a bunch of smoke up and tell you that they're there all the time. They're not. I mean, the equity of it comes down to the fact that everyone all over the city has people speeding down their streets. So I do put them up there more than anywhere else. Sierra Road and Suncrest get more police presence than most of the streets in District William, that area, because I know that it could lead to things like fire, or it could lead to people doing bad things like shooting guns. Definitely fireworks, like you said. There were fireworks at the sideshow. They videotaped shooting fireworks at my officers, and I have those videos. So you're right. It's just a matter of keeping a constant presence in the area and letting the people that hang out up there know that we will come up there. But I do need your help in still calling. And it's not because the cops don't want to go up there. It's because you have 4 or 5 officers a night at any time, and they're handling huge calls, shooting, stabbings. Oops, the lights went out here. Sorry. There we go. And when they have their free time, it's usually an overlap time between swing shift and midnight shift. That's when they usually go up in Sierra Road.
Linda, I have a quick question. I was just wondering about firearms and guns. So those who are engaged in these sideshows, do you guys find often that many of these folks are carrying weapons? Because thank you, Catherine, for bringing up the M80s. And I'm on Whitman. I hear it all the time. It's so, I'm really close. And so what scares me is maybe gunfire, but it's good to know it's firecrackers and M80s and not gunfire.
Well, it is both. It can be both. I mean, I wouldn't ask you to ever go outside and take them on, because we definitely had that one real big sideshow that happened before. We followed, I remember there's a white car from your area. We followed all the way down to South San Jose, and we're able to take the car into custody, the people into custody, and they did have a gun. So people come from all over the Bay Area. I'm going to kind of go back into the one pot of my brain. I remember 70-something% were out of the area for these large scale sideshows. So I can't tell you if they're going to have a gun or not. I assume they do. So if you hear it and it sounds like a gunshot, just call 911. That's a 911 call, and just say, hey, I heard something. And then the officers can go up there when they're able to.
Great. Okay, we do have, Ty. We need to move along.
Captain Trayer, would it be possible to put speed bumps on Sierra?
Well, I love trying stuff like that. That all gets done through the Department of Transportation.
Okay,
And
yeah.
my experience has been, those are the speed humps, they call them, are super hard to get put in, especially on a grade like that, because people driving super fast hit a speed bump, and then Kathy yells at me for them running through her bushes in front of her house, right? Because they lose control of their car. So yeah, I'm not telling you no. I've seen like it's been kind of difficult for speed humps to be put in on any type of grade. And I'm not a speed hump expert. I'm pretty good at other stuff, but I can ask the DOT for you and just to see if there's any. And I'm assuming you're talking about kind of either the dog leg turn or just the straightaway on Sierra Road between between the turn and Skyview. Thank you. I knew it had sky in it. Skyview and White Piedmont right there. That's right. That's where you're thinking, Ty?
I'm not sure that I'm thinking that specifically. I just know that if you have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, you put a big hump there.
Yeah.
Take out the bottom of your car. Oops. But
yeah, I like them for some reasons, but usually communities they want them taken out after like 6 months, because whoever lives around there hears everybody bottoming out by their house, and they get really sick of that. Because the reality is there aren't going to be like 50 cops up there writing tickets all the time. So, but I'm game to ask if there's been a study for you, and then we can kind of go from there.
Captain Trayer, may I help you? This is Dick Santos. In the fire service, they're usually against it because it breaks the axles of the emergency rigs on a response. And that's usually the bottom line. It's not going to pass, but thank you.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you.
And I'm Melanie. Yeah, we've asked them a number of times, the DOT people, and they just absolutely say no. So that's a no go there.
Thank you, Melanie.
Okay, Ty, can you put your hand down now?
I will, thank you.
But I'll keep calling on you. Thank you, Captain Trayer. We really had you busy tonight, didn't we?
I'll respond to everybody privately on the chat, just so I'm not taking up more of the meeting.
Oh, good. Thank you. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you. All right, we have the sheriff's report tonight. I think I should let her introduce herself, because I don't think I'm going to say the name right. Lieutenant Treya Lara.
Close. Hello, everybody. My name is Thea Lara, and I'm a lieutenant here with the Sheriff's Office. I actually oversee our patrol division in our South County area, which is San Martin, Morgan Hill, and Gilroy. I was asked to attend this meeting today because we do have 3 other lieutenants that work in my division. However, those 3 lieutenants were off this evening and today. So I volunteered to come to the meeting and help in any way that I can. I think my report will be shorter than the captain's was, but I'll answer any questions you have after I'm done. And I also wanted to give my congratulations and kudos to Captain Trayer for catching the carjacking suspects, because we had been hearing about it on our radio frequencies as well as they were putting out information. So congratulations to your team on the hard work.
Thank you.
So what I did since this is my first time here to the meeting, I've been in our headquarters patrol division for several years, and I am aware that part of our locations that cross over with San Jose are of concern to many of you, such as Sierra Road and Felter, Marsh Road, those areas. So I went back into our database for the last month or so since the last meeting, so January 11th until present, to look for any statistical data we had for crime reports we took. And it looks like in the last month, we've only taken 2 reports in those particular locations. One was a vandalism to a mailbox. And then the other one, which was a little bit more significant, was an ATM machine that was located on Marsh and Felter. And that particular ATM, my understanding, was linked to a San Jose Police Department's case. I think they had 6 other ATM machines that were stolen, and this was, I believe, one of them based on the information that I had. Those were the only 2 crime reports that I located in the area that I searched. I do know that there's a lot of concern on the Sierra Road area that's already been discussed a little bit from a couple of you in regards to activity. Our sergeants as well as our deputies are well aware of Sierra Road. They go up there as much as they can to try to do some traffic enforcement and prevention. I know that it's been quite some time, but I believe last summer we did a collaborative effort with San Jose and CHP where we had put together a task force, for lack of a better term, for a couple weekends to go up there and do some activities, some enforcement. And I think that was really beneficial. Since then, I don't think we've had a collective or collaborative effort, but our units have gone up there as much as we can to try to prevent some of the activities, especially in the late nights. I know because I work our day shift mostly, I hear a lot of, a couple of our deputies in particular that go up there to do traffic enforcement and towed vehicles. They've found a couple stolen vehicles up in that area and taken reports for stolen vehicles as well as recoveries that they've located. But again, we do know it's a problem and we try to get up there as much as we can. It's just as Captain Traer mentioned, it's just our staffing is kind of like theirs. It's a little bit limiting in terms of what we can do in terms of getting everybody up there with the amount of staff we have available on every given shift. But we are cognizant of it. And if you have some specific questions for me or concerns that you want to bring to my attention, then I'd be happy to coordinate with my sergeants and other lieutenants for some extra efforts if you have some questions.
Anybody have questions tonight? Oh, Catherine. Go ahead, Catherine.
Yes, Lieutenant Lara, I was curious if there have been any citations issued for the new speed limit of 25-mile-an-hour radar patrolled up here that was put into effect 6 months ago.
Catherine, I'll have to check on that. Is that the 25-mile-an-hour zone on Sierra?
Yes.
And it's located near your house or a different location?
It's located from the county line, from up to Skyview and Sierra up, all the way to the Sierra Vista Open Space Park.
Okay. I know that we have a deputy, Deputy Randall. I'm not sure if you've met him before, but he's one of our deputies that does most of our traffic enforcement in that area. So I will research his stats as well as our overall, all of our deputy stats to see. I can almost guarantee that we've written citations because he's pretty much a ticket and tow deputy. He likes to clean up that area, but I will definitely look and see, and I can get back to you on that. I just don't have the data with me right now.
Okay, we need a coordinated effort again. San Jose PD can't pick up all the slack. We haven't seen the sheriffs up here hardly ever, especially with the race to the sunset every night. So right before sunset, they race up and they go up to the park. The closer it gets to sunset, the faster they go. They go up to Sierra Vista. If they can't get a parking spot there, they park all along the road. They block the road. They throw out their alcohol bottles. They have a jolly good time. As fire season is here and getting closer, it's going to be terrifying this year if we can't get it under control. Today, I took a ride up to the park. I noticed graffiti started to be at 4190. There's a parking area there that they tore out all the delineators 6 months ago. They just recently, the county was able to put them all back in. I noticed today they have graffitied them and they've started to graffiti the road again in that area. There's also a couple more spots, but again, it picks up on the weekends, but it also goes on during the week. Like last night with the sideshows, they were up here. So that started at after 11, they were up here. Sometimes they're up here till 4 in the morning without people seeing the patrol cars and enforcement signs or whatever. It doesn't work. So all of us we realize that you have all these things going on, but we need to get this under control. Whether there's other people here at this meeting, we need tougher laws. We need stricter laws. We need something because we need to get this under control. And also we need more help with funding for our law enforcement. Anyway, I won't get on a soapbox full top, but we need more help up here in visibility. And I'm sure Santos and all the other neighbors here, Mr. Sung, Melanie, they all agree with me. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine,
Thank
for
you.
those remarks. Lieutenant, is there any other questions for the sheriff? We thank you so much for coming.
Madam Chair, this
Oh.
is Dick Santos. Just
Yes,
to
sir.
reiterate, Ms. Cummings gave a fantastic report. And all I can say is my 13 years up here, the sheriff department is responsible for probably 95%. Their visibility is the worst I have seen in those 13 years. They're just not visible unless they're driving invisible cars. But I work out here almost every single day, and I work with San Jose PD. When I first got here, San Jose PD didn't come up here. Now they're up here, and the sheriff department is less than ever. And whether it be Catherine, Miss Moore, all of us, we support our law enforcement. We do need some help. And those sunset hours or evening hours are brutal with a racetrack up here. So Sheriff, thank you so much, but we really need your help. And these neighbors I have, we've done everything. We've got the caution lights in. We went to the County Board of Supervisors. We've done everything, and we've supported you. But you got to invest in backing us. You had Sergeant Randall here years ago. That's the last person I got a chance to meet again. And it's really, since he's been gone, it's been really bad. But we understand the pressures you're under, but we're here to help.
Yes, sir, I understand, and I will definitely pass it along. I appreciate all the information that each of you are expressing. I understand your concerns. I sympathize. I wish, like the captain, I know he goes up there much more than I do because it's not necessarily my beat. I do wish that I had more staffing that I could provide to you in that area. Deputy Hoover, I know, is one of our rural crimes deputies that we send up there also. So I will talk to him directly and some of our other staff that work in the evenings to have them go up there in the evening hours, because I know that they're up there during the day because I hear them on the radio when I'm working. And at the nighttime, I have looked at the stats and I've seen them in the area, but I can't necessarily at this point guarantee or comment on how many citations have been issued.
Our homes are available. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is there any other questions while I complete my report?
I don't see
Can
any.
we get you, can you put on the chat your contact information? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your service.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it was really short notice for you too, so thank you. All right, reports from our officials, just updates, Tim, for Senator Wachowski.
So this Friday is the last day to introduce bills in the state Senate. And so I'll give a legislative update in April. I think that would be more appropriate. I'll give a budget update because the May revise comes out in May. And then of course we have Citizen of the Year in March. So that'll be my goal for the next 3 months. But yeah, the senators will introduce bills Friday. That's the deadline. Monday is a state holiday or a federal holiday, President's Day.
Yeah.
So so let's see what else is on the calendar. Oh, happy Black History Month. And I do want to mention that the senator did select a Woman of the Year the other day, and she's from the district. She's from well, the office is located in Berryessa. You may know Gisela Boucher with Loaves and Fishes. So she will be honored next month. She's been doing some great work since she got there in December of 2017. They opened a new headquarters. I wasn't there, but it was during the pandemic at the end of 2020 off of Burger Drive. They used to be housed inside the Conservation Corps, which is nearby. But John Sobrato, the billionaire, and his wife Sue gave some big money to open up this new space. So she's been very active, and they have seen, it's interestingly enough, a 300% increase in the request for meals over the last couple of years during the pandemic. So they serve 7,000 meals per day. And I think that amounts to about 1.4 million annually. I think that's what I read on their website. But we all know Loaves and Fishes. They've been in existence since 1980. And they're a local nonprofit. We got to support our local nonprofits here, especially those that serve meals to the homeless and veterans and families that really need these hot meals. So she will be Woman of the Year for Senate District 10 in March when we celebrate Women's History Month. That's all I have.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, any questions? No question. Okay. Assembly person Alex Lee and Jariah will speak. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Hi, everyone. Sorry, my camera's off. My Wi-Fi is unstable at the moment. So if I cut out unexpectedly, Anurag will jump in for me, but let's hope not that doesn't happen. So as Tim was explaining, the legislature is back in session and the assembly member recently introduced a slurry of bills, but I wanted to point out two in particular that may interest this group. So one of the bills that he introduced is Stop Foreign Influence in Elections. So it essentially bars corporations that have a significant amount of foreign ownership in the business to contribute to our local and state elections in California. And then the second bill is our social housing bill, which he just introduced today. And I'll link them both in the chat if you want to take a read. So social housing will essentially help with the supply in California of housing. And it's very interesting and cool. Personally, I'm very intrigued by it because this system of social housing has been done in other countries. And basically what it is that the state will start building mixed income housing. So it'll become self-sufficient in its funding and maintenance in the housing itself. So it's not just like affordable housing, it's mixed income. So like it helps pay for itself over time. And there's a bunch of other bills that he also introduced, but we're actually going to have our legislative town hall, which you're all invited to, which is on February 24th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then you can go ahead and RSVP. I just dropped the link for that as well. It'll be debriefing on his bill package, the budget with the governor, and his also priorities for the budget as well. And just to highlight too, we had a office hours this past Tuesday for our entire district, and we met with constituents regarding their concerns. And another event that we're hosting for Black History Month is actually this Saturday. We selected 6 honorees from the district, and they're all leaders from our district. One of them is from San Jose. Her name is Margaret Jackson. She is a radio host and personality, and we'll be honoring all of them in Milpitas. And so it'll be more of a private event, but we'll be posting about it because we just wanted to highlight all the Black leaders in our district. And that is all for my update. So let me know if you have any questions, and I can drop my email too. And all the links are in the chat that I mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you. Let's see, does anybody have any questions? Okay, very nice. Thank you. A lot of information. Okay, let me see what's next. Is somebody here to represent Supervisor Otto Lee? Anybody here tonight? No? Okay. City Councilman Cohen is, I think I saw Alexander. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Linda. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. We've got a lot to share with you tonight, so I'll try and be brief. But the number one thing we want to let folks know about is that budget season is once again upon us. So this is the time of year when council offices work to get funding for priorities within the district. So that's things like road safety improvements, park improvements, community center services. And so as with the last budget season, we really want to encourage folks to reach out to our office with input and feedback on where you see opportunities in your community for funding, whether it's local streets where you see a lot of speeding issues, or a park that could use some funding to reactivate it. So last time around, we were able to secure hundreds of thousands of dollars. That was for things like sideshow prevention improvements, for community gardens, for resident services. And this time we're aiming to get even more. So your input is really going to help make sure that that money goes where it's needed. I also want to give a quick update on some of the office's recent legislative and community activity. So last week, council approved 2 memos co-authored by Councilmember Cohen. One to accelerate efforts to house our homeless residents and to make sure that we're connecting as many folks as possible with housing opportunities. And another directing staff to start on a plan to plant up to 2,000 trees a year in areas with really poor tree coverage. And that's one that's really important because District 4, unfortunately, has one of the poorest rates of tree coverage in the city. So it's very important that we're making sure that the city is planting trees in the areas that most need it. Now out in the community, we had our first dumpster day of the year last month in Summerdale. In just a few hours, we got rid of over 200 cubic yards of trash. So we're going to continue to hold 1 dumpster day a month in a different neighborhood in the district each time. So if you'd like to see a dumpster day in your neighborhood, please shoot us an email to let us know, and we'll be sure to put it on the list. We want to share a few upcoming events in the district as well. One that we're really excited about, this year marks the 150th anniversary of our very own Alum Rock Park, the oldest municipal park in all of California. So kind of in honor of this landmark and all it means to San Jose, our office is working with the city and with Councilor Magdalena Carrasco's office to organize a big celebration at the park, which is currently scheduled for May 14th, with some smaller fun events in the park over the next few months. So please keep an eye out for that. We'll be sharing some more info on those events soon. We're also very pleased to announce that the Art and Wine Festival is going to be on again for 2022. We're working with the Berryessa Business Association and planning to hold the festival around May 7th. Many of you have been to this event before. You know, it's a great event that helps support the school district, and it always features a lot of really good food, really good activities, and of course, a lot of great art and wine. So be sure to keep an eye out for that as well. We'd like to invite you all to a town hall that we've got coming up on February 23rd. To talk about one of the #1 things our office gets questions about, which is trash and how the city deals with it. So we're going to be joined by Valerie Osmond, who heads the city's waste management efforts. And she's going to be sharing some really interesting info about how the city handles garbage and recycling, how it gets sorted, and where it all goes after it's processed. So if you'd like to register, go ahead and click the link that I'm dropping in the chat to join Councilmember Cohen on the 23rd and talk some trash. And lastly, we want to encourage folks, if you're able, please consider donating blood. We're fortunate here in District 4 to have the San Jose Red Cross Blood Center right here off North 1st in Plumeria. The council member was there with the mayor and some of his council colleagues just last week giving blood. And it really is one of the simplest, but the most meaningful ways that you can help others. So if you're able to, please consider giving the center a call at the phone number I just dropped in the chat, and schedule a time to get yourself some complimentary cookies and juice. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Lots of good information. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, Santa Clara Valley Water District.
Excuse me, I had just
Oh,
a
I'm sorry.
question for
Yes, James.
David Cohen's representative.
Oh,
I'm just
Alex.
curious, if I suddenly find myself homeless and I walk into my neighborhood police station and I say, guys, sorry about this, but I've got no place to sleep. What is likely to happen to me? What will they do, if anything?
Alex, are you still there?
I'm sorry,
Good.
go ahead, Linda.
Go ahead. No, I just was checking to see if you were there. Okay.
Well, James, that's a very good question. Captain Trey may be able to speak specifically to that particular scenario. I don't know exactly the answer to that question. I'd be happy to look into it for you, but I know that the city often works to connect unhoused folks. For example, when folks reached out to our homelessness response team or when they reach out to our office, the city sends staff out to meet with unhoused residents, connect them with services, connect them with housing opportunities. So we work very hard to make sure that folks are connected with those opportunities whenever we can.
Can I just add an additional thing? I'm Mrs. Fitch, Lori Fitch.
Yes.
We had an incident where I got a lot of help from Councilmember Cohen's office. We had a homeless man who was camped out in the parking area of Penitencia Creek Park on Penitencia Creek Road. He was there for several weeks and he kept expanding what he did, and until it was an absolute mess in the parking area. And they eventually got somebody there and they cleaned it up and he was told to leave. Well, he is now situated in front of the Berryessa Community Center. And he's beginning to unpack all his stuff and spread out again. What do we do with something like that? I mean, he just moved from one parking area of Penitencia Creek Park to another.
Well, we definitely appreciate you letting us know about that, and we'll be sure to share that info with our homelessness response team.
Yeah, because
Unfortunately,
it doesn't seem like nothing's been done. I mean, he's in the same spot. It's just a different parking area for the park.
Yeah, it is unfortunately true that oftentimes, you know, when homeless folks are asked to move or when an encampment is abated, sometimes there is simply nowhere for them to go, so they do move. But you know, the city does its best to connect them with housing opportunities wherever they exist, and we are working right now to secure more funding to get more housing opportunities created for homeless folks. So we want to make sure that to the greatest extent possible, when we hear reports of encampments, when we hear reports of unhoused folks, when we go to them to offer services, we do have a place to connect them with. So we are working on making sure that we have the funding to make that happen.
Well, I hope you'll.
Can
go
I,
and
I'm
take
sorry,
care of
since I'm on the call, let me chime in.
I was
on
gonna
this
chime
for a
in,
second.
David.
Oh, you want to chime in instead?
No, you chime in and I'll tell you if you got it right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was a very good example of why it is that when people call our office and say there's a homeless person living in a certain location, please help make them move, that we don't quickly make them move, because just chasing them from a location where they are means they're going to be somebody else's problem the next day. We unfortunately have 6,000 people on the streets and homeless, and probably a limit of maybe 1,000 locations across the city to house people. We're continuing to spend a whole lot of money creating more housing options. We're buying motels with state money to turn them into temporary housing. We're trying to build more small home sites for people. We're also, so we have contracts with some nonprofits that go out and try to get people into the open spaces, but there are more people on the streets than there are open spaces. So we focus on the locations that are of highest impact in terms of trying to go out and get them placed first. Right now, the city's focused on the 200 people living at Guadalupe Gardens near the airport. And then we have a couple other sites in District 4, primarily along Coyote Creek, that are of big concern that we're going to try to get people placed from. The issue with these smaller places where there's handfuls of people is that we don't really have the capacity to house everyone. So we wait and figure out which locations are really places that need to be cleared before we clear them. Because if you clear them, what happened here will happen there as well. Because if you just tell them they have to move, they have nowhere else to go. Having said that, my office is also really focused on trying to find safe parking sites throughout our district and the city, sanctioned locations where we'll provide services and allow people who have vehicles, like this particular person does, to relocate there. And there'll be security and restrooms and garbage collection at those sites. We are very close, I believe, to opening a few of those sites in the next few months. And I'm going to focus on trying to get District 4, people who are currently living in their vehicles in District 4, off the streets where they're living and onto those sites. So it's a multifaceted problem with lots of possible solutions, but they take time.
David, may I just chime in on that, please? I appreciate the fact that you're zeroing in on a large group of people, but I think that you need to also focus on very sensitive areas. We're talking about Penitencia Creek Park, which is highly used by everyone. Lots of children, lots of seniors, lots of adults. There's walking going on and bicycling every hour of the day, from early morning until late at night. So if there is a homeless person in the parking lot, number one, he's taking up a lot of parking area. Number two, he's making a great big mess. And number three, people are afraid. Because I walk there, and when he was in that other parking lot on Penn at the park, I was afraid to walk in that area. You know, it's a dangerous situation, and I think that something like that needs to immediately be looked at.
Yeah, and that's why we addressed this where he was before. We sent that to the city and told them that it needed taken care of, because there are sites that are sensitive, like you said. And now that we've heard that he's at the other site, we'll keep an eye on it and make sure that if it's close to places where he needs to be moved, he'll be moved again. He is in the city parking lot, which is a place that we can more easily deal with. But again, we have reports of people in neighborhoods all throughout the district in similar situations. And so in some sense, every location where anyone is a sensitive area, because there are families with children living near almost every location where these are happening. So we deal with this on a case-by-case basis and try to get our services out. And we are working hard in our office to try to concentrate some extra services in our district. We just have to be really careful, because unless we have a place for somebody to go, the same thing happens where we're chasing somebody from site to site to site, and that takes a lot of city resources. So that's just what we have to consider as we look into it.
Thank you, David. Barbara, did you have your hand up? Barbara? Ron? Okay. Ron, do you have your hand up? No, there was a hand. There is a hand up. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. That's good. All right, Dave, thank you for all those comments, David. I appreciate that.
Got it right.
Pardon me?
You got it right.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I
you
was
got it
just
right.
joking around.
Okay, Stacy, okay, you gave us your blessing. Okay, good. All right, let me see. So, Dick.
Yes,
Santos,
Madam
you're up.
Chair. Richard Santos, good evening and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. With that, there's all kinds of stuff going on. In fact, I was pretty happy last night. We got some rain up here. Unfortunately, they don't see it for about another week. We might get a little bit more. But again, we continue praying for rain. It's no pun, it's real. We had the redistricting. We had Mike Cross, who's the president of the Penitencia Homeowner Association. He was a volunteer, and Ty, because my district is probably the biggest, around 300,000 people, they cut some of White Road area and also in the Sunnyvale. So I lost the east side of White Road where you live, but since I am here, I'll be overlooking you at all times. So you're still in good hands. But it makes no difference who's running, I'll be there. The other issue is water conservation. We have 22 rebate programs. And when I'm in the neighborhood, I still see some terrible shady lawns. I'm not telling you how to live, but you got a chance. $2 a square foot, Saturday throws $2 on. The process in a water district, I made sure it's simple, it's not hard. You call up and you can qualify for those things, remove lawns and other issues and have your drought resistant plants. I've done it, it works out, you save water. So that's something to consider. December 8th, excuse me, in December, actually November and December, we usually average around 20% water conservation of our residential neighborhood. You folks have done a great job, but a letdown was in those 2 months. Why? Probably C-19, holidays, whatever have you. We've had summer weather. People are using a lot of water. So, you know, we got to conserve because there will be none for the future. Again, I preach out. I got mine. I want your children and grandchildren to have water. You got to chip in, folks. So without us, it ain't going to be done. I dread saying when we have no water. That Penitencia plant is 724. It's pumping to you every day. And those folks do a great job. And I make sure they're there all the time. The term we use today, if you can try to help, it's unhoused. We're all sensitive in all your comments. I live with it. I understand it. And I work with it. I'm working with Stacy Brown and David Cohen's office. We work hard. There's a lot of restrictions we all got to go through. I wish if it was up to me, yeah, we start in Alviso and we go to Georgia. We take care of everything. It ain't going to happen, folks. We got enough bureaucracies to go on a lifetime. So you got to be patient. You have to be the eyes and ears. And David Cohen's right. You remove somebody from one park, they go to the next park. And then we got to go in today. We can't go in and remove folks. We got to have PD there. We got to have a health department. You got to have housing department. There's a lot of stuff we got to go through. In his office, in my office, along with Otto Lee, our assembly people with Alex Lee, I can go on and on. We're all working together. But if you call, we're going to serve. And a lot of times it's not my area, but guess what? You're my constituents. I will chip in and help at all times because it's your money. We'll put it back in. We've got to have permission, but we'll do it. I stand open for any questions, but I know we're running. All I can say is this, please, water conservation is a way of life. Thank you.
You. Ron, do you have your hand up? No, this is a floating hand. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Santos? All right. Berryessa Union School District Superintendent, Dr. Fuentes, you are up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Linda. Happy Valentine's Day. Just to share, certainly in our school district, we're in a much better place this month than we were last month in terms of dealing with COVID. So really pleased to see our case rates continue to decline in comparison to where they were when we first came back from the break. Just want to share with everyone here, we are continuing to provide multiple opportunities for COVID-19 testing. There's an upcoming date that's open to the community this Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. at Sierramont Middle School. So if you need access to a test, feel free to go by our middle school in the afternoon and help yourself. There's not been any, as conditions improve, the demand for testing has declined, but it is still an important measure for everyone to continue to do it just out of practice. So take advantage of that opportunity. In addition, our students are getting ready to go on another break period. So next week, our schools will be closed for the President's Week holiday. And in preparation for that, we will also be doing more extensive testing for our students. This week, we are distributing at-home test kits to every student in the school district, as well as our staff. And then we will also have our district office open next week for testing for any of our students and staff that require that 5th day test. Will be open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for testing availability. And then we'll have another big community COVID-19 testing opportunity on Saturday, February 26th. So right before our students come back to school from the holiday, there will be a drive-through COVID-19 testing at all 3 middle schools from 9 to 5 p.m. And that Saturday is going to be open to the entire community as well. We have a wonderful partner who has the capacity to do up to 700 tests per event. So well over 2,000 tests available that Saturday. So please, if you're traveling and you're in need of a test, take advantage of that opportunity as well. And then lastly, I just want to share, we have opened enrollment for the next school year for 22-23. So everything is available on our website to do online registration. I want to highlight our early learners. So for transitional kindergarten, that eligibility is getting broadened from September 2nd. It used to be till December 2nd, but now it'll go all the way to February 2nd. So we are opening additional TK classrooms. Eventually, that's going to evolve into a new grade in every school. So every school will have TK through 5th grade. So really excited to get those early learners into our system very soon. And also we have opened up our registration for the Mandarin dual immersion program over at Cherrywood. So if you have anyone that's interested in learning Mandarin, that application process, the window is now open. And I know our parent participation program over at Noble, they will open up their application period and the lottery the first week of March. Thank you.
Well, sounds really busy. All right. James Fitch, do you have your hand up? I see a hand.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very impressed with your reporting on what's being done about COVID. I am interested in what your perspective is on how our school community, the kids and the teachers as well, are doing academically, emotionally, behaviorally, attitude-wise. Could you just kind of give a little survey of
Oh,
your thinking about
sure.
that?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. I would love to. You know, I'm really proud of our school district and everybody involved. I want to say it's been challenging, not just this year, but, you know, the past 2 years. But everyone has worked really hard, you know, to make sure that our students continue to learn and to be as successful as they can. You know, everything with COVID has been highly disruptive, but our teachers have worked really hard to be present for our students. Our administrators are offering a lot of support resources to the families as they identify the different needs. In terms of social emotional support, prior to COVID, our district had already been investing in social workers. So we have a social worker for every school site. So that was an added advantage, that we had going into a situation where we knew there was going to be more counseling support, more behavioral support for the children. And we've also expanded those resources through COVID and have also invested in some family therapists that are also available to provide more deeper support for the students that need it. But ultimately, folks are tired, right? It's been an exhausting year. This year has certainly been even more difficult than last year because of the many safety precautions that have had to be put into place in order to put in those safety mitigation measures for COVID and to keep our schools open. But everyone has been very committed to keeping our schools open and to assuring our students have that in-person learning opportunity, and to see their smiles and to hear their voices and laughter on the playground is everything. And that's energizing enough. But thank you for asking, because it definitely has been a struggle. But overall, everyone is doing the very best that they can, and we're really proud of all their efforts.
Okay, thank you. And just be aware that you have our support. Our kids went through the school system about 40 years ago here, and we remain very interested in your success. So
thank you for that support. We greatly appreciate it.
That's very nice, James. Thank you. All right. Piedmont Hills High School student, who's on our board. Vishnu, you have anything to report? Busy, but busy guy, I know.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. So it looks like everything that's going on in Ms. Fuentes's board is reflecting Piedmont right now, or Eastside Union. Between this month and last month, the only thing that has changed within Piedmont is that we have switched to PCR testing, which is a lot more accurate than this rapid test that was only 85% accurate. And now you can use it for travel requirements. And ahead of that, the music department finally got our Disneyland trip approved by the school board. And we haven't had that in 3-4 years. So yeah, that's about it.
Oh, yay. Yeah, that's good. That's nice to hear. Something I know they always look forward to, and to not be able to do it is on top of everything else. Okay, thank you, Vishnu. All right, we have a presentation about BCA project. It's we're still in the process of trying to get it going, and so Ty's going to give us his update. Are you ready, Ty?
Yes, Linda, thank you. Eric, if you could empower me to share my screen, please. Thank you.
Oh, there it goes.
Give me just a moment.
There we go. Revitalization.
Yes, okay. Thank you for attending, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day, of course. I'm going to give you an overview of where we stand on what we're calling the 2022 Pond Revitalization Project. I picked the word revitalization because it probably is the most descriptive of what we might be able to do with the funding that we have. And you'll see more about that later in the presentation. I've taken on the responsibility at the board's direction to lead the effort. And my contact information is there at the bottom of the slide. And this will be given to Eric to upload on our website, or you can get it off the video, whichever is easier for you. I would love to have your comments. Okay, first of all, we're building on success. We've had a number of projects that have benefited the community. If you look first at the middle bottom, 2012 Art Box project, Ms. Quinones was contracted with our money to come and beautify 2 otherwise drab utility boxes there at the corner of Piedmont and Berryessa. And it's a lovely piece of artwork that we were pleased with. And then in 2018, we upped the game to put park benches into Penitencia Creek Park. At the time, there were approximately, I think, if I remember right, 4 benches, and we added 10 more. This was a public-private partnership, and I'll describe in more detail on the following slides some of the aspects of that and why it's important. Then Susan Fowle took up the lead, and in 2019 put together the Berryessa Banners project, and we installed, I believe, 11 wayfinding banners that fly on poles along Berryessa Road near the BART station. And this was particularly interesting because she did a great job in organizing art contributions from area residents. And so we were able to take their art and display it so that they have a presence in our community to share their art. Plus, we've taken copies at reduced size and hung them in the community center periodically to give people a chance to see the art up close and personal. It's 20 feet off the ground if you're walking along. Then in 2021, we completed the mural restoration. There is a multi-panel mural that graces the front of our community center. And over the years from its installation, it had faded significantly. And we were able to get the original artist, John Pugh, to return and to, in spite of COVID and in spite of wildfires, we managed to get that done. And so it has the coloration that was characteristic when it was installed, and it is lovely. And it does, I think, honor the agricultural past on which our community is built. So those are the things that we've done in the past. And so the board decided they wanted to up their game. And the linkage here is to the 10 park benches that were installed in 2018. We had a great partnership with San Jose Parks, Recreation and Neighborhood Services to install park benches on Penitencia Creek Park Trail, the asphalt area. We want a place where people could pause and have conversations, sit back with views for introspection, and just if you're tired, sit down and rest. I was over there the other day, and park benches were basically occupied by a whole bunch of people who were texting. I don't know how much vista they got, but they were having fun. It was a public-private effort in the sense that we used public monies, Beautify San Jose grant money as seed capital, and a number of individuals were just extraordinary in their generosity, coming forward and funding the purchase and installation of park benches. And we were able to recognize them with the plaques that are attached to each of those park benches. We had labor from the Boy Scout troop, and then the Parks Recreation and Neighborhood Services did a significant amount of base construction that embedded these park benches in concrete so that they're stable and long lasting. So that was a project that we wanted to build on. And what we had back in the day was a lovely pond filled with wildlife, birds and the like. And it contributed to a wonderful ethos around the trail. Unfortunately, Richard Santos has highlighted many, many times through the years that we are basically in a season of drought and have been for maybe a decade, I don't know. But the water district has not been able to be generous with water to fill ponds like this. So unfortunately, what it looks like today is a weak example of what it used to be. Now, there's no water, obviously, because it's too precious to fill a decorative pond. And the surrounding fence is old. And the vegetation around the perimeter is limited. Now, fortunately, I don't know whether the Parks Department has done this or not, but the bottom is at least uncluttered and unlittered. It doesn't look like it was a disaster area. Nonetheless, it is the opportunity that we're going to look at revitalizing this area. So the project highlights. The objective is to revitalize the basin and or the perimeter fencing at the Penitencia Creek Park Pond. The scope that the board has chartered for the team is they want us to plan the effort. What is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? What are the milestones that have to be achieved? What funding do we need? They want us to coordinate. Clearly, there are a number of stakeholders that are involved in the pond land and its utilization, and want to make sure we engage with constructively all those parties to make sure that their conditions of satisfaction are met throughout the program. We want to secure sponsorships in the same way that we did with the park benches. Perhaps we can generate a level of private giving that will enable us to expand what might be possible given the funds that we have currently. Of course, whatever we do has to has to have approval. So there will be a number of organizations that we will have to coordinate with. And so we'll be taking care of that. And want to be that bridge that coordinates among the various government offices that are engaged with and control some aspect of the pond. The timing on this in the charter says a phased approach, 1 to 2 years is acceptable. The asterisk there is to acknowledge the fact that one of the funding sources we have is a Cycle 4 grant from the Beautify San Jose project, and that has a 12-month limitation. So whatever we do with those funds needs to be planned, executed, and delivered, completed, and documented by the end of the year. So just to give you a perspective, this is a Google Earth image of the park back when the pond back when it had water in it. It's approximately, if I did the math right, of running around the perimeter, it's about 1,900 feet in perimeter. It represents about 2.5 acres. And I'm assuming that if it is a 4-foot average depth, that's 10 acre-feet worth of water. And Richard Santos would, love to have 10 more acre-feet of water anytime. So those are basic numbers. We're going to have to refine those working with the Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services Department, but it gives you some idea of the what and the where and the how much. Potential partners and or stakeholders. Certainly the City of San Jose's Park and Recreation Neighborhood Services Department has the authority over the park. Supervisor Joe Nguyen and his team are on board with this at a conceptual level, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Valley Water also has authority over the water allocation of the pond, and while they haven't made a commitment yet, they agree in principle that beautifying the pond would be a noble goal, and they need to work with them to find out what is within their condition of satisfaction. The Open Space Authority have not approached them yet, but obviously preserving the natural beauty and protecting our water resources and scenic views is part of their charter. And Mike Flaher is a previous Citizen of the Year winner with the various Citizens Advisory Council, the former president of this council, and is a good friend. So hopefully we can use and engage with him to see if there's an Open Space Authority opportunity there. The San Jose Parks Foundation, they advocate for parks and trails by empowering residents and securing private donations. So they might be a great partner to have on board with this program. The others is meant to cue the thoughts of you listeners. If you know the other organizations, other individuals that have a particular interest in or passion around park restoration and revitalization, I would love to hear from you. And you know how to get in touch with me. The status right now, we're in the early planning phase. We have $15,000 that have been awarded to us as seed money. We have a District 4 grant of $10,000 that was started in Councilmember Lundkeep, but Councilmember Cohen followed through and saw the funds delivered to us. Thank you. The Beautify San Jose grant, Cycle 4 of $5,000 has been awarded to us, and it will soon be our responsibility in our bank account. And we are in the process of building partnership. As I said, San Jose Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services has an agreement in principle work with us in what we're up to, as does the Valley Water. But the specifics need to be worked out and agreement made and plans drafted and executed. So we'll be developing scope and budget and agreements in the future that lies ahead. And here's where you come in. This is the largest project scope we've attempted. And with that level of scope, obviously more hands make easier work. So I'm here to invite you. I'm keen to have you engage with us and come play. You know, reach me, there's my cell phone number. The idea is that your skills and contacts can make a huge difference in terms of grant identification and application, sponsorship identification and outreach, promotion. There are any number of ways that you as individuals that could join our team and help us fulfill on this vision. So that's what we're up to. That's where we are in the plan. And I want to thank you for your time. And I am available for questions. I am going to stop sharing my screen and return control to you, Linda.
Yeah, I have a question, Ty. I'm just curious as to what considerations go into whether water is allocated to the pond or not. It seems to me that a lot of the water that goes in there goes back into the aquifer, which would be a good thing. I guess some is also lost to evaporation. And since it doesn't seem to want to rain back, that's a bad thing. But what controls whether the water company or water department allows us to have water in there or not?
James, I don't know the specific criteria that they use. I know that there are perk ponds that have been empty for months and months and months. But there are a couple of perk ponds that the water district has agreed to keep full in order to support wildlife, the turtles and the geese and the ducks and whatever, that take advantage of the water there. But it's just the upper two ponds. So I don't know specifically. That's part of why I need to do the outreach to Valley Water and find out what opportunities, if any, there are to refill the pond. You're right, is a one-way pond. Water comes in and it either evaporates or it soaks into the ground. There's no exit portal.
Well, Ty, this is Dick Santos. I can give you the short, quick answer. First of all, the Penitencia ponds has to be cleaned and taken care of. Number two is if there's excess water, it's gravity fed from the Bob Gross ponds. If we do maintenance work, there's less water. We're in a drought, it's a serious issue. So it's gravity fed. When there's enough water, it'll come down. I do everything I can to make sure you'll get it. Work with Jennifer Codine, and we'll continue working. But a lot of maintenance and other things have to be done so the water is not destroyed or poisoned or whatever have you. I've been there numerous times. The city and the county has to do their job, and water will come when it's necessary or when we can. I'll always be there to help out.
Yeah, it is clear for decades that you've been a very active and very responsible partner in our community, and I would expect nothing less than from the water district. But I do recognize that you have responsibilities that may not allow you to release water. We'll find out. But for right now, I hear what you're saying, that if we pour water into a pond that's contaminated, all we're doing is contaminating the aquifer underneath it. So we have some serious questions to get answered first.
But Ty, you can count me in. We're going to be a partner. We're going to be part of it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ty, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, Ty,
Ron.
I have a question about the fencing. Has there been an analysis about what percentage of the fencing is salvageable and what needs replacing? And is the city get involved in that determination?
The answer to your first question is no. There has not been a detailed analysis that I'm aware of that assesses the standard of the fencing, whether it needs to be replaced, whether it can be repaired. whether it just needs to be resurfaced, I'm not sure. When I was out there, I didn't do a complete perimeter walk. But while it's old, it is there. And it does its job in keeping people out of the basin. But the second part of your question is yes, whatever happens around the perimeter fence would be under the auspices of and cooperative agreement with the City of San Jose's Park and Recreation Department.
So you see, there is a lot of work to be done yet, homework just to get started. So we will be doing that little by little. There's lots of people to contact. You can't ever get them on the first contact, probably. That's been the past. So we have a lot of work to do. So Ty, thanks for updating us on that. And
You're
we'll
welcome.
keep you apprised as to what we need. And if you have the ideas or have suggestions or know people that can help out, please let Ty know, and then we can proceed from there. We have one more, just a short update. Janet, Jaron, and Sharon Root have been really very diligent about that property on Capitol 905. Capitol is what the project is called. And it's that big, lots of housing going in on 2 pieces of property. So they've been investigating a whole lot, talking to a whole lot of different people. So Janet's going to fill us in.
Thank you, Linda. Hi, everyone. Yes, we have been very busy contacting a lot of people. I'll keep it short. February 9th, anybody who's on the distribution list for the project manager, who is Angela Wang, we all received an email. I put the link in the chat there. Basically, the developer has resubmitted all the project paperwork and notified anybody that's on that distribution list. From what I can tell, it's a very lengthy 58-page document. From what I can tell, it was just everything that Eric and the developer reviewed with us at the last meeting, where they added some new office space, took away 4 apartment units, I believe. No change to the parking, no change to the entrance. So that's basically what I can tell, what was resubmitted. So if you get on the site, which, you know, the link is in the chat there, you can tell kind of the progress that they're making in terms of reviewing the entire project. It's still under review. And Sharon wrote to Mayor Liccardo, David Cohen's office, Angela, the project manager, Jessica, who's in charge of the DOT review, and Nick Lagman, who is in charge of the fire department planning site review, pointed out all the usual topics that, you know, come up when we talk about this, which is parking. The very narrow road and the one exit into that apartment building is very problematic. The homeless encampments around the area are just out of control. Zero ridership on light rail, and this whole development's going to change the landscape of Berryessa. So it seems that, you know, the more you dig into it, it seems like the developer is able to pay their way out of a lot of issues. And those issues are the lack of the park, the lack of significant amount of affordable housing in this apartment building. And it just seems like they're able to throw money at these problems instead of solving them. A new next door post was made by myself. So basically, Sharon and I will be meeting with the developer and Eric on Thursday of this week at 3:30. We decided to call a smaller meeting, because you know, the developer explains the plans in these larger meetings, and it's all great for information sharing on their part, but it's not really good for more in-depth dialogue. So we wanted to engage them to try to accomplish, you know, a little more than we do in these large community meetings, and what can we really do about these major issues. So that will be on Thursday at 3:30. We're going to meet at our community park here in Creekside. And basically just are encouraging Eric and the developer, if they want to have another community meeting, to go through Penitencia Neighborhood Association so that we can get the larger population, not just the Creekside residents, who obviously have the majority of the concerns about this development because we live right behind it. So that's my update on that. We'll share more as we have this meeting on Thursday. So thank you.
For those of you that don't know, Capitol is right, it's on Penitencia, but the property is really also on Penitencia Creek Road. So it's on that side of Capitol, the west side of Capitol Avenue. And Creekside is already developed there, and they have their own park there that was put in. So the new development has no plans for a park. And so that's certainly a big concern. And there's only one entrance in and out of that whole area. So that is a big concern. And Janet and Sharon have really done a lot of work. And I know we might be asking you to email, soon as we'll get you the addresses, to email all of those parties that are involved, to say, hey, are you really honestly thinking about what this is going to do to our community? Is it a safe place that's going to be available? So we'll let you know as it goes along, especially after the smaller meeting that Janet and Sharon have planned with Eric and the developers. So
right. I'd just like to add that I did reach out to somebody in charge, not Angela, but somebody else who is working on this. It looks like, what was her note to me? They've got at least 1 or 2 more rounds of review on their side. So they estimate that the reports would be ready for release for public comments mid to late spring. And that's where we have this 21-day window to really dig into what they find and raise our voices and make our own comments about it.
Definitely they have to be able to have that or provide that public comment, right?
Right. And we sat down with our HOA president too. The biggest expenses for the Creekside community are landscaping and our park. I mean, to have 350 potential people trying to use that park is just going to raise our HOA fees through the roof. So it's a real concern.
Okay. Thank you for keeping us informed in the work that both of you are doing. It just seems like the more you know, the more you have to find out about things. It's just incredible.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Just a couple announcements. Our next general membership meeting will be March 14th. It's a big deal for us in March. We have Citizen of the Year, and we will have a celebration of the Italian American Foundation, the Heritage Foundation, that's what it's called. Italian American Heritage Foundation will be making a presentation. So we don't know. I've been in contact with the supervisor at the community center. So, we have to go by the county, the state, and the city. They all have their own little quirks as to how many people you can have in any one place at any one time. So I will keep in touch with them. If we get it'd be nice if we could get back into that building, especially for that celebration of those 2 events. So I'll keep you informed. And the American Heritage Foundation is certainly, or Italian American, they would like to be inside, but they will do Zoom also. So, but they're anxious to make their presentation. So,
Linda,
thank you.
If you do get permission to go to that building, please let me know, because I sent the invitations out to the elected officials saying that it would be a Zoom meeting. So we need to back away from that and tell them to.
Well, you don't know. I can't guarantee when. They'll know for sure. The supervisor sent in our proposal to be able to be in the room, be inside the community center. So, they'll lay out the guidelines and we'll see if if it fits with what we have, because that's usually a big event and there's lots of people there. So we'll let everybody know as soon as possible. Of course, it's like the 4 schools, they get notified and then the next day it's a little bit different, and so, but I've made the initial presentation and requests. So hopefully, thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
I have one announcement. I
Yes,
think it's
sir.
if I'm correct, Thelma, was it your birthday the other day? So I just want to say happy birthday to Thelma.
Aw, happy birthday, Thelma.
Thank you. My number is unlisted. in terms of the years, but I thank you very much. You're funny, you know that you're funny.
Trying to remind you.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Valentine's Day. Thank you. You all.
Hope to see you all in person next month. I look
I
forward to that.
know. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's see what we can get
Thank you
between
very
that and the
much.
water. Okay, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a
Good
good
night.
evening, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Good night. I have to. Hello.